went in Memorial Day of 2004, and I stayed in until August 8th of '08. And my time there started out in Fort Sill, Oklahoma for basic training and AIT. I did 4 months there before going to South Korea. I spent a good year there at Camp Casey, Camp Hovey area. From there I went back to Fort Hood, Texas, served under 1st Cav Division and deployed with them to Iraq in 2006. Stepping off the helicopter in Iraq, it was a bit overwhelming, you know. I mean, I didn't know where I was at. There was nobody around. We were kind of dropped off in a courtyard, and you know, I didn't know if the enemy was right on the other side of the fence or not. You know, I had no idea. So it was quite frightening for me. But you know, I was there with my team members, and you know, ultimately somebody came and picked us up and took us to our fob, and we settled in. And you know, you just take it day by day. You know, for a short period we had a sector where we patrolled the neighborhood, and that was probably my biggest interaction with the people of Iraq. You know, seeing their homes and their families and people in these conditions just trying to survive. You know, and that's where, when you get over there and you see that kind of stuff, it's when you start to believe that, you know, what you're doing over there really is for these people. You know, it's not just, you know, ulterior motives. You're really doing something for the people that are over there. So the bracelet I wear is for Staff Sergeant Leroy Webster. He was a fellow soldier of mine. We both got promoted to sergeant together. Both kind of learned how to lead together in a sense, came up together, at least in the 1st Cav unit that we were stationed together at. And he had already had one combat deployment under his belt at the time. So, you know, I looked up to him for what to expect when we got to Iraq. And he, you know, he was killed the year after I got out when they returned to Iraq. And, you know, we shared a lot of moments together, not just through developing our leadership skills, but also our personal interests outside of when the uniform's off. And one of those was he turned me on to riding motorcycles. When he passed away, I made it a point to take a trip and suit up and drive out to Hartley, Iowa to visit his graveside and pay my respects. You know, I was a junior in high school. I was sitting in chemistry class, and they put it out over the intercom that the World Trade Tower had been struck in Manhattan, and you know, I didn't know. I didn't know if it was a joke. I didn't know what to think, to be honest. I wasn't quite, didn't really sink in at the time. But by the next period, which was my physics class, they had a TV on in the room, and you know, I seen the first tower smoking, and that's where I seen the second plane hit the second tower. And I was still in a bit of disbelief and shock. I was caught in awe, you know, like this is really happening to the United States, and New York nonetheless, you know, the most populated city in the United States. And a little bit of fear crept into my heart, and you know, I grew up right outside of O'Hare Airport. You know, and the dead silence was deafening. I mean, you know, I grew up having a conversation with people and having to stop every 5 to 10 minutes waiting for that plane, you know. The noise from the fountains kind of drowns out anything else, all the rest of the noise around the bustling city. I mean, it's right in the center of, you know, Manhattan. To read all the names and just how big it is, you realize how small you are and how big of a tragedy this was. It was kind of full circle for me, having watched a part of it happen as it unfolded as a young man, and then as I got slightly older, you know, those events being a huge catalyst as to why I went into service, and then after my time serving, being able to visit that, it's something to experience. We did a little research and we were able to find another very significant piece. The Mississippi runs right alongside of Quincy, Illinois. And the monument here behind me kind of depicts that this huge iconic part of the US, New York specifically, of the World Trade Centers, is put together by a multitude of pieces that come from across this nation in small towns just like Quincy, Illinois. Like this antenna behind me was manufactured right here in Quincy, not too far, a couple of streets away. And it's kind of, they were able to get this piece of the wreckage from the World Trade Centers and dedicate this memorial to the events of 9/11 and bring that to this hometown here and share it with its citizens and the people that pass through and people like us that visit. Originally, when I first started to attend college again, I really didn't have all the benefits in order. I just wasn't aware of it, and that's half the battle. You gotta know where to look. And having had my experience that way, once I got a handle on some of those benefits, I'm a huge proponent of trying to spread that word. And when I attend, veteran organization functions, whether it's the American Legion or the VFW or even the Student Veterans Association, I try to get out there like, hey, are you taking advantage of these benefits? Hey, are you aware of, this benefit for you? Have you explored this option? Have you talked about the extension for your 9/11 benefits? Have you reached out to your Student Veterans Organization on campus? Have you been in contact with a veteran service officer? Have you reached out to the Illinois Department of Veterans Affairs? A lot of people don't even know that department exists. And that department in and of itself oversees all of the benefits that the state of Illinois offers to its veterans. I've been out of service for 11 years now. It's taken me that long to become comfortable talking about almost every aspect of my service, good, bad, and ugly. A lot of veterans that are fresh out of their service, it's good to get them involved. Include them in what you're doing. Reach out to them. Sometimes all it takes is the right person in the right situation to invite us out to be a part of something, and that might be the door back to the civilian world for us. Being able to blend back in and be a part of the community again as a fellow citizen and not just a service member. As important as it is to us, we want to fit in too. What ignites my passion? Selfless service. Seeing other people benefit from what I can provide for them. I want to see people do well. That ignites my passion.